We are now recording.
I have a question.
Hello, Dennis. Yes?
How do you get a picture in your screen? I had a new picture I tried to upload, but I can't see. It doesn't seem to want to be there.
Okay. When you uploaded it, did you upload it to your Zoom account?
Yeah.
Okay, you just have to make sure, Dennis, when you click the link that Gina gives us, you have to make sure you're logged into your Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if you're not, because anybody can come into a meeting and you'll come in with that type of a generic profile, but you have to actually make sure you're previously, and probably, at least for me, because I'm using it so much during the day, I'm always logged into Zoom. But just make sure you can actually pop out, log into Zoom, and pop back in, and then I bet you'll see your nice, lovely new profile picture I saw on Facebook.
Yeah,
that's a great
I want to see it.
Looking good.
Had that taken at my Toastmaster meeting last Saturday.
Nice. Good
It was
job.
taking pictures for the members to upload to the website, so I thought I'd get a free picture, some free pictures to update.
Came out good.
Oh, I see it, Dennis. I'm on Facebook. Wow, that looks really nice of you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Joanne, what about that thing you posted online? You were having problems.
Oh, yes, I had a solution. I have today was a problem week.
My problem started Monday and just really haven't ended yet.
The solution to that problem was quite easy. What was happening is I was trying to open up a QuickBooks 2015 file, and it was opening up. I would log in, and then nothing would happen.
Oh, that's
It would
right.
sit there, and it was you saw the icon down at the bottom of my taskbar, and I could hover over it, and it would look like it was opening up the company file, but it would keep it totally, like, nothing would ever come up.
It was like hidden under the
It was
under the taskbar.
I couldn't tell. No, it wasn't hidden underneath the taskbar. It just wouldn't open up. So we tried troubleshooting all these things. This one girl, like Michelle, I can't remember her last name. She was amazing. She helped me out totally. And then she said, here's a really tough one. She goes, it could be minimized somewhere totally, really, really small where you can't see it. So I looked everywhere. I had two screens. I moved all my icons. I couldn't find anything. So then what I ended up doing is I just sat on where I saw the preview start to come up, and I did a right click with my mouse, and I chose the option maximize.
Got it.
And it popped up.
Wow.
That's a blog post, let me tell you, because that is, I can't tell you how many times that happens to me, and I always thought that the data file was corrupt.
Right.
What do you suppose made it minimized in the first place?
I have no clue. That's the mysterious troll that lives inside my QuickBooks desktop.
I think sometimes it comes from hitting 2 or 3 keys at the same time. It happened to a client of mine once.
I've had it happen to me too. It's something inside the settings of the computer. One day the computer wakes up and says, guess what? I'm stealing 2 hours of your time today.
There you go.
Well, what's weird is that, we pretty much are, because it was on my computer, and whenever I finish with a client, I always do file, company log off, and then I do file exit. So I do that all the time. And even if I know I'm going to be like working on a client file remotely, I will still shut it down, and then when my remote on, I will open it up, and I do the same process. So it's not like we've ever, maybe a few times my computer would crash, like if we lost power or the computer crashed or something, or the internet, and my computer would shut off and reboot, and then maybe it would be in that type of a state where it would hang up and possibly be minimized in that type of, I don't know. But
try it on another computer next time it happens.
Yeah.
You have several computers in your office.
Michelle had suggested, the girl that was in there, she said that she has heard, and this was in 2015, she has heard a lot of people this happening more often over the past 3 to 6 months because of whatever after some specific update.
Okay. So is it Windows 10, Windows 8?
I got regular Windows 7.
Yay for you.
Me too. Ugh, I hate 10.
Yeah. I have a client that has Windows 10 with 2013 QuickBooks, so how you think they're going to handle it?
Oh,
In
okay.
2013, did you read the article from, I think it's Charlie Russell, about
No.
2013? That I guess they're going to be sunsetting it soon.
Yeah, it sunsets in May. Yeah, that's the term for it, because they're actually on my schedule to, whenever I see everybody that's going to be sunsetted, I try to get them to upgrade.
Yeah,
So they're on my list to upgrade. So yeah, this May is the sunset of 13. Can you
sure.
believe it?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, I'm going to go right into Brandon. Let's talk about the Intuit IRP program. What options are available for pro advisors?
So all pro advisors have the option of being their own IRP. There's a couple of different IRP options. One is an authorized IRP. The other, which benefits me most and would benefit you the most as well, is the Premier Reseller. The difference between the two are really a little bit better pricing with the Premier Reseller and better commissions with being a Premier Reseller. And by coming on board with somebody like myself as a secondary office, then you also you don't have to maintain the sales quota that a Premier Reseller would have to maintain. Authorized resellers do not have to maintain that, but by coming on board with us as a secondary office, you also would not have to maintain that sales quota. So monthly promos and the best pricing for all the Intuit products and services. And sales leads, we can also send you sales leads if you're interested in running those leads, and also doing remote as well as some local sales and service promotion. And we Intuit sends us those leads first, and we like to distribute those leads to the closest or most appropriate offices that we have.
Nice, nice. Now, I understand there's two different kinds. For pro advisors, they can either do wholesale pricing.
You can do wholesale pricing. So what we get is we get pricing. It's updated every month from Intuit, or we can also purchase through distribution, which is Ingram Micro or Blue Star. They carry all the Intuit products, and we get preferred Premier pricing for those. You can purchase Pro, Premier, or Point of Sale at wholesale cost and resell it at whatever cost you want to sell it at. So you can sell it at your cost, not make a profit on it at all, or you can sell it at retail and make that. It's and the pricing, depending on what product you have, about 30 to 40% markup. And then hardware, we've got the same things available for all the POS hardware, and anywhere from 40% on down to like 9% markup on, depending on what piece of hardware that you want for point of sale.
Nice.
Now, the way it does not work the same way for QuickBooks Enterprise, because you give on the subscription-based software as a service, you give your customer's credit card number directly to Intuit, but we make as IRPs 28% profit or 28% commission, not profit. So it doesn't cost the customer anything to go with us, but we can also give them preferred pricing. So the promo we was talking about earlier this month is a 40% off for QuickBooks Enterprise, which is a super deal, but it's one time. And what I usually do, and did it for a client last week, is 20% off for the life of the product. So they get 20% off this month and next year, or this year, next year, the year following. So it's a really good deal for our customers, and it sets us up to be their hero, because they get good pricing, and we also get to do the sales and service after the sale. So that's the way that I really like to work. Is number one, give my customers the best possible deal, and also be set up to be their partner and work with them on an ongoing basis.
Nice, nice.
And it was mentioned, before we went live, that really the best way to work is to we can't do it all ourselves, and that's the reason that we've kind of turned this into and started building out our secondary offices. Is there's no way that, and even my competitors that run other IRP, we had talked about some of the others that are doing that. Even though we're kind of competing more or less to get Pro Advisors on board. We want you on our team. They want you on their team. But either way, there's about 100,000 Pro Advisors nationwide. There's more than enough Pro Advisors to go around and still not touch the customer base that Intuit has. With all of the products and services they have to offer, we just want you guys on our team. The additional benefits that you get, by the way, and I just used them, is we have a sales rep, dedicated sales rep at Intuit, who, if we ever have a question, we call them. They can help us out with pricing. They can help us out with sales. But I dealt with a tech support problem last week, and I absolutely wanted to pull my hair out. They've been having problems for a year. They had enterprise. They were using full service enterprise tech support, still had problems for over a year. They finally paid me separately for me to come in and take care of it. I spent 6 hours there on Monday. When I left, I thought I had it all sorted out. Tuesday, they had problems again. I worked for 6 hours on Tuesday, still had problems. I called her. We got it to escalations, and she ran it up the scale and got them fixed today. So it just helps in the IRP world to have additional points of contact get into it. And that's one of the biggest things we bring to the table. And in addition to just sales, is also support.
Support is big. Support is really big.
It is. And having somebody that you can talk to at Intuit that's out of the Pro Advisor tech support area, because trying to escalate things when you keep telling them you're having problems. I've been doing this for 15 years. I can pretty much troubleshoot this crap. But when we run into a problem where tech support says it's a merchant service issue and merchant service says it's a sync problem, they want to send us to Connected Services, and Connected Services says, well, it's a tech issue, and we keep getting the runaround. Somebody's got to step in and take control.
Absolutely.
And that's really where it started pulling strings higher up and into it, and having those contacts is absolutely priceless. We were about to lose him as a customer. So
Absolutely.
So that's really the biggest thing, is just having a team of people that we can bounce things off of. And if I get a customer, Gina, in your area, or Joanne in your area, if they come through as a lead, I'm sending them to you, because I've got more than enough clients in my area to keep me more than my fair share of busy. So I want those leads to be taken on by you guys and by anybody else that joins our team. You get the sale, you make more money on it than I do, but we all get paid. So that's really the beauty of it, is we have a team that can answer each other's questions, and we all make money. And bottom line, we're all here to make money. What's that?
Kind of like our group here. We're all here
Absolutely.
to support each other and learn from each other and help each other. So yes, fits right in with what we're doing.
Absolutely. So yeah, we didn't talk about pricing. It's free to join, by the way, our premier IRP program. And I think my email address is up there, but if you guys want to talk offline, certainly do that. But I'm open for questions, but I know that there's a bunch of other subjects that you guys want to tackle. So, but I appreciate you letting me talk about the IRP program. I love it.
Well, thank you. Thank you for explaining. I think some things have changed for people, and it's hard to keep up. So it's nice to know what our options are. So thank you.
Yeah.
Can I just add a little comment to that? To the IRP stuff?
Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, I wasn't sure. I was waiting for it.
I'm looking at Gina, but I know you can't tell who I'm looking at here. So.
I know. No, I just wanted to comment that I'm inside of Brandon's group now, and what I really liked about the group that he has set up and what he's doing is that, he's offering us, he's educating us with like weekly meetings to be able to explain to us the different programs that are out there. And on the call, we have Intuit people on our call that are helping us being able to, if you're not sure what the right product is and stuff for your client, or you're not familiar with the point of sale stuff, they can help you walk through that process and make sure you're picking out the right option. And I never really quite understood the ability to be able to generate the passive revenue out of the QuickBooks payments and the merchant services that are through QuickBooks that are really, it just makes sense to kind of bring it all in and have you, without doing anything really, have a residual income. So, and it doesn't cost anything.
Right.
And I know Gina's had problems, and I've had problems in the past with payments. What I've learned over the past, actually since 2006, we were selling payments long before we got into the IRP program. But I've learned about not just setting people up, but the way that the whole payments industry works and how to get around some of those hiccups that people have when they're either the volume goes up or the pricing goes up, things like that. How to be proactive to avoid some of those pitfalls. And I've been to hell and back with pitfalls in payments, so I get where the problems are and how to avoid them.
And hopefully you can make
Sometimes it can't be avoided, but if we can, I know the right questions to ask and how to educate our customers when they get started.
Okay. Thank you very much. And Shelley has joined us. Shelley, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Hi, Shelley.
long time.
Hey, Shelley.
Hi,
Yeah.
Shelley.
Hi, Dennis.
Hey, Shelley.
Hi. What are you guys talking about?
Into its IRP program.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon was just explaining it to us a little bit. I just wanted to say hi to you. I wanted to say hi to Dwayne. Dwayne came on a little bit late. So,
Well, hi, Gina.
hello. Jan's with us, hasn't been with us for a while. She wants to talk about what we're doing this year. For 2016, what are our goals, our focuses? So does anyone, we kind of talked about this a little bit on our blab last week. Does anyone want to say anything?
And there's silence.
I will
Love
say,
it.
outside of the IRP program, really my main focus, and we talked about a little bit offline before we ever went live, but time management, focusing is, I struggle with sleeping because there's so much work to do. I'm a workaholic and my family hates it, but not only building my business and building the IRP program that we're doing, but it was really juggling. I sat down as I was redoing my list and figuring out what success really is. I defined it a long time ago as it's being successful in my family, in my church, in my business, and having all of those things work together. And if I spend 100% of my time on business, then I'm not successful. So it's really just trying to equalize all of my time management this year.
Wow.
Absolutely, I hear you.
Love that. Yeah, I think we can all do that.
Mm-hmm. For me, what I talked about last week briefly was my goal is to go through my client list, which I've already started to do, and dump the pain in the butt clients. So I'm letting them loose. I'm calling other clients to the carpet, raising rates, readjusting how we're billing, and how I'm going to be using things. And if they want to work with me, this is how we're going to do things. And I'm just really streamlining it a little bit more so that it frees up my time to be able to play and do other fun things.
Wow, good.
I
Do you do that every year, or are you just now starting to do that?
I mean, I've done it a little bit, but I can count at least 5 clients that I have hung on way too long for, just because I haven't necessarily really wanted to have the conversation, or I wasn't 100% sure if I wanted to lose the income. And the other thing too is raising rates. I don't know how many of us have evaluated what we're currently charging for people. And I know we're always afraid that we're going to lose clients because of pricing and people looking for a cheaper option and stuff. And I've just started, anybody new that I'm coming on, I've raised my rates. I think I'm probably one of the highest rates in my area locally for what I do. And the people that engage with me, they don't even bat an eye. So I'm picking up new clients at a higher rate. So I just want to get rid of these pain in the butt clients that I'm not making a lot of money on. It's just not worth it. And so, yeah, that's just kind of, there's no reason for me to have all these clients when, you know, it's like that 80-20 rule, you know, 20% of the clients are making 80% of your money.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I do that every year. You know, I go through my list, and each year it's getting less of the clients that I want to get rid of.
Yeah.
You know?
That's nice.
And
That's a good
that's what
thing.
I'm hoping is going to happen after this year, because I haven't really purposely gone through my list and say, this one's not worth it, this one's not worth it, this one's definitely not worth it. And, you know, communicating with them or raising my price up enough where I know they will decide to go elsewhere. I've already gotten rid of 3 of them so far. I have 2 more that if they connect with me, I'm going to say it's not going to happen. And the other big change that I'm going to do is there's been a few clients that I've always, and this is more tax end of things, that have always been very, very slow to pay after I do the taxes. And I know exactly how long it's going to take me to do the return. And I'm going to tell them, this is the rate you pay when you drop off your return.
Right,
Or I'm not going to do your return.
right.
So what you have to do, if you don't have the cash, then you save up the cash. You know, there isn't financing here. There's no layaway. You save up the cash, you have the money.
Well, I don't think people understand, you know, when your competition is like H&R Block,
Mhm.
you know, and they come in and they say, well, I can get it done for $49 down the road. What can you do for me?
Mhm.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always tell them, well, you know, well, maybe we're not the right fit. That's what I
Yeah.
tell them. You know,
Well, I had a conversation yesterday. I had a new client come in, and, well, I should say a potential new client. He met with me last tax season about this same time, and he was looking to make a switch. He has an accountant / bookkeeper who's doing his stuff. He wasn't sure if he was getting too much, if he wasn't sure what he was getting. He doesn't know. He just was very, very flippant. I don't know what I need. I just want to run the business. And, you know, he's all like, he doesn't know, but he's like, my stuff's not that difficult. So, you know, right? Isn't that like the big thing they always say? Your stuff's
Right.
not
oh, yeah.
Right.
Can't take that long.
So I took a quick look at,
Don't do it yourself.
I know. So I took a quick look at his online file, and I just saw it on his iPad. We couldn't see it on desktop, so I couldn't see like a lot of the bank stuff. Like if the person's actually matching things up and if he's doing any journal entries.
Right.
It's a mess. He's got draw accounts as expenses. He's got equipment as expenses. Doesn't have cost of goods sold up at cost of goods sold. The guy doesn't have any type of reports that he can even be able to look at. So, and as I was flipping through, and he couldn't, you know, I was flipping through, I could see how much he was paying this guy monthly. Now, this guy at the end, he would take his stuff and bring it to a girl at H&R Block who would then do his taxes. So this accountant doesn't even have the CPA or the EA or whatever to do taxes. So I saw how much he was paying him, and I just kind of laughed because I was like, well, I know I'm going to be more than this guy.
Right.
This guy is already paying. So as he started kind of, you know, you can get the feeling with the whole conversation of how he was pushing it, that he was like, if you can beat this guy, you got the job. And I was like, I'm probably going to be more than him. I'm just telling you that right now. I see how much you pay him, and I'm probably going to be about $150 to $200 more a month to do. And I go, but this is why. Boom, 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 boom. And then I gave him a little tax lesson on DBA versus S Corp and why he should be thinking about changing an entity. And before he left, he was like, yeah, okay. I'm going to come by Monday, drop off a check, and we'll work on getting everything switched over.
Nice job.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that I stood my ground, and I think it's because, and I think it just takes time. You know, you were saying, how often do you actually do this? Is I started doing the weeding out of the old clients when I knew that as I could approach a new client and actually have a conversation with them and say, this is what I offer, this is what you're going to get on a monthly basis, and I can deliver that. I'm not afraid to lose clients that are going to be a pain in the butt, because I know that there's going to be more people. People freak out when they lose clients and they get all upset because they lose that revenue, but that just opens up the door for better opportunity. And it always happens. It's like that.
True.
It's like that law, right? That it just always happens.
That's true.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to look at it a different way. My clients, I do like my clients. The biggest problem I have with my clients is getting information from them. So, like you, I'm going to take a little bit of time and spend some time educating them how to work better digitally, work with online, folder sharing. I'm going to start with Dropbox because it's the most popular one, but I'm open to other systems if they want to use something else. But I really want to spend some time educating them, showing them how easy it is to not have to be pushing papers around all the time, to not have to run out and pick up a stack of papers, to not have to put the papers in the mailbox and mail them to them. There are many other options right now, like I said, I'm just going to use Dropbox at this point because that seems to be the easiest and the ones that my clients like the most.
I got a question, Gina. If you have a customer that's basically paper-based, right?
Mm-hmm.
They either mail you or you go pick up the receipts and all of that. And now you want to move them to Dropbox.
Mm-hmm.
They maybe have to invest in a scanner of some sort.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If they want just a scanner, I'm going to recommend the SnapScan. If they are a small office and want, other things beside the scanner, you can, sorry about that. You can do like the all-in-one printers. You can do the scanner, the fax, and copy machine. I am preferring that for the smaller businesses. Businesses that may have different size papers and a lot of to scan, I'm going to suggest the SnapScan. So I am suggesting hardware this
Can
year.
I ask you a question? Have you looked at HubDoc? And I'm only using them because I think they're the most popular, but what's the price difference between like HubDoc and Dropbox? Because I use HubDoc and got away from Dropbox, and I don't particularly use Dropbox.
Okay, yeah, I have looked at HubDoc. I have a specific folder system that I want to use, and I'm not sure how to get HubDoc into that system.
Do you integrate then? So which folder system do you use?
So I'm using Dropbox now to get stuff back and forth, not necessarily to keep my clients' information. I have that on a separate, I actually keep that on my hard drive that I back up with an external drive.
Okay.
So it's just the sharing and the information that I need to do the bookkeeping that we're using Dropbox with.
I gotcha. Okay. Not the statements or things like that.
Right, right.
Okay. Interesting.
See, and I actually take the opportunity for the clients, a couple things. The clients that I have that are more paper-based, when I'm brought to them and they're looking to make things a little bit more streamlined, they'll be able to protect their data that they have. What if they do the picture, I show them how to use their smartphone.
Hold on a second. Somebody's typing in. Okay, go ahead.
So I show them if they have an iPhone or an Android, I show them, I put on a scanner app on their phone so that because you can actually make a really good, clear PDF image from just snapping inside of these cam scanning apps. So a lot of times if they don't have an all-in-one scanner or they just don't want to have to go up and stand there, sometimes just snapping the pictures are a lot faster. So I do that, number one. Number two, if they want nothing to do with it, we offer, and these are for the really small clients that like, I got like plow guys and I have some landscapers that are totally just paper-based. They'll bring their stuff to me in a box and I have one of my bookkeepers, we have a high-speed scanner will scan all the stuff for them
Oh, nice.
for a nominal fee as part of what we do monthly for them. And then we either take that information and we actually bring it into, we log in and do it into their own Evernote so that they can be able to search Evernote to be able to find their stuff.
Mhm.
But I have yet to really see the need right now for at least my client base to do the whole HubDoc and then integration type thing, because, and this could be just me unless I actually see it, but I really see that there could be issues with the integration and then the matching up of the bank feeds when it comes in and having things maybe not be so accurate. So I guess I'd have to actually really see that, and I just haven't had the opportunity to do a test on it. And right now this works, and there's no monthly fee to it. It's Evernote, and which
Right.
you can get Evernote free if you want to. So
And so, Shelley, you're also saying that Zero files for all the expense receipts. So you're talking about Zero software?
Well, yeah, the files are so great because you can set up folders and you can email attachments straight from your email to the Zero inbox, and then easily move them to individual folders for each statement, attach them to invoices and receipts, or have an invoice open and go attach it later, upload it from your phone. It's just, and tons, and, you can upload like a bunch of stuff at once. It's just very easy to work with and free. So I like that. And then I'm using the File This to get my clients' bank statements because I just got tired of asking them for it.
Can I ask them?
Yeah, it wastes too much time.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
I've got everybody set up on File This. It's not perfect. There's still a couple of bank accounts that aren't syncing. But we know we don't have to go get bank statements. So the work is ready to go on the 1st. You can just grab it from the File This.
So can I ask all of you, what I do when I onboard a client, I send them a list of things that are needed to begin the bookkeeping. And one of the top things is bookkeepers' access to their bank accounts. And the reason why I do that is I hate waiting for statements. Some of them don't like to go online and get it. Does anybody ever do that? Because I do. And it works great because I don't have
to.
Yeah.
I do
You need to get their
sometimes,
username and password.
Yeah, I get my own username and password.
Yeah.
Some of the larger banks will allow an accountant or an authorized user to just view statements.
Yeah, just for viewing privileges only, of course.
Right.
Yeah. The problem is especially for my regional clients that use some of these smaller banks, is that having that accountant access isn't an option.
Right.
To be able to log on. And the other downside, and this is just, if they gave me their access to be able to log in, I can't tell you how many times these people change their passwords.
Well, I never like to get their passwords just for security purposes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll tell me here, I give it, no, I'd like for it to be added on as a user for viewing purposes only.
Yeah.
Right.
But like I said, not all banks have that option. So
Right.
at least in my area, maybe in California that has it, but in my area, there's maybe 2 banks that I could do that with. And the majority of my clients around here are using, the credit unions and stuff because they're
Better rates,
they're
better
cheaper, they're better financing, they're better customer service.
Right.
But on the downside of it, the connection and the logging on and stuff. But my clients are very, very good when it comes to bank statements. That's not the issue. The issue for me is the clients that don't explain everything to me. Explain the transactions.
You have clients like that?
Yeah, I have a few clients like that. What was this $15,000 you took out of your account?
I forget.
I was wondering if you send a letter out to your clients when you fire them, because I need to find mine. It's been a little while, and I just can't wait to finish somebody's year end and send them the letter.
A letter for what? To get rid of them?
Well, yeah, it needs to be really clear that I'm no longer responsible for your books effective this date. What happens with the whatever, everything needs to be, resolved. So I forget. don't remember the exact wording. We had it down to a beautiful sentence. It's been a while since I did it, and so I'm sort of
Yeah, mine's usually mine's kind of like in the reverse. Is that I have my clients. We do like kind of annual onboarding, like renewing contracts.
Yeah.
So when the year's up and it's not renewed, you're done. So it's not really a letter has to go out saying it's that contract is ended unless they've opted into the new year with all the new rates and stuff.
How do you keep track of it?
Yep. Yeah.
How do
Just
you
a
keep tra-
just a spreadsheet, something really
Okay.
simple.
I've been using Practice Ignition to do that, and
too. Love
so
it.
next year it's going to be automatic, and I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
Me
I won't
too.
have to do anything. Everything just renews, and all the collection happens automatically. Have you guys tried the Practice Ignition?
Mm-mm.
It's
No.
one of my favorite apps. I can't even tell you how much time it
Yeah,
saves
check
me.
it out.
Is that Zero or is that something else?
No, it's separate.
It's separate.
Practice Ignition. I use it for engagement letters, but I also, everybody's so into this value billing, value pricing, and I was like Joanne, where all my new clients went on to pricing, the newer pricing, but you still have those older clients, right, that you have to transition over. And so even though I was doing hourly, I wanted to get away, and I knew that there was value pricing in there. So I started, I still use T-Sheets, but what I did is I set it up and I track, and we started our engagement out at the beginning of every quarter. And I say, okay, here's what you're contracted with me to do. And I track everything. I mean, on my app, I track emails, time, texts. I mean, I track it all. And then I put out the report, and then I put it up against what we had done at the end of the first quarter. And then I figure out what are the extras that I'm not charging them, because I was getting slaughtered in the beginning with all this value pricing and value billing that everybody wanted. And so then at the end of the 3 quarters, I do another engagement letter, and that's where Practice Ignition came in. I said, okay, here, so I'm doing, I hate to say this because you guys probably want to shoot me, but I do 4 engagement letters a year, so 1 every quarter. And every quarter, what I'm finding is that they are having add-ons because it's so much more than what they engage. So we increase the scope every quarter until at the end of that first year, there's a complete scope. And then any add-ons that were kind of like the top, those now become optional, and I price them out. And they're honestly, the ones that I don't want to do, they become obnoxiously high. I mean, because if they're going to pay me to do it, they better pay a lot. But so Practice Ignition, I can probably do an engagement in about 3 minutes. Letter.
My letter takes me a while because each client is different. Like I onboarded like 3 new clients within the last week and a half. And sometimes I spend like an hour or so on the scope of work that has to be done and what is not included, all these things, unforeseen, circumstances or whatever. But I was telling myself, I wish I had someone that I could pay to do my contracts for me.
Check out Practice Ignition, Yvette, because that's exactly what I was doing. I was spending an hour and a half. And so to try to roll all of that up every quarter for my clients, I was wasting so much time. And it's, Shelley, how would you describe it? It's kind of like a template.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. It's like having a virtual assistant for starters who keeps track of who signed what and when it came in, and then also having all your collections done for you because everything gets paid through the payment system. And then as far as actually building an engagement, it's like a pick list, and you go, I'm going to reconcile these accounts, and then you list them out, how many you're going to reconcile.
Yeah.
And you instantly build a really beautiful proposal. So when I first started using it, though, I used it, I really didn't set it up right. I took my old letter of engagement and just kind of plopped it in there. And I finally had to call Max, and he logged in and he's like, "You're just doing it all wrong." And once I realized that it was that easy, like you just go, "Oh, yeah, let's see, we're going to reconcile accounts. And every time you add an employee, it's going to be $75. And, you know, every time you add an account, it's going to be this for setup," and just boom, 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 everything's ready to go.
Yeah.
Then it started really making a difference. At first, it was just great not to have to keep track of who signed what. But then when I could start using it to build a complicated proposal, yeah.
And you can use that, Yvette, that template just to kind of go, yeah, like Shelley's saying, to save time, because you're going to be doing it, even though the customers are unique. It's more of a drop this in and drop this in, but you have the overall structure of your template available. And it's just, yeah, it just flows. And it syncs with your QuickBooks Online if you're using that.
R0.
And Xero. And I was gonna say, no, it syncs with both of them. I was trying to think of all of them that it syncs with. I think it syncs with desktop too, but there's an import feature that you have to do. But the thing is, it brings in all your customer information, and when you do a proposal, it sends it back out to the software, so you don't have to be going back and forth with it.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, but I still want to write a letter, you know, just an official letter, even though the engagement has ended, like with this client that I can't wait to be done with. I still want to send them an official letter that says, you know, it's over.
No, right. Yeah, I would too.
I think I have one, Shelley. I'll send you my version of what I have if you want.
Sure, that would be super helpful.
Okay.
I don't know where mine is. It's been a while.
What do you pay for Practice Ignition?
$80 a month?
80 a month? Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot, but
it's worth it, honestly. But the other thing is, I'm not trying to pub my business or anything, but if they're running a special, Shelley, if you become an ICB member, it's 50% off that per month.
Really?
For how long? Forever?
Last time I talked to them, it was forever, but you might want to check. They might have put some time limits on it. But yeah, so it's $40 a month if you're an ICB member.
Nice.
That's
There
very
you go.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Maybe you could post a link to that or something.
Yeah. Do you want me to send you the link to sign up for ICB as well?
Can you just put it in the chat thing?
I will.
Okay. So Linda, you had a demo last week.
well, actually, I had a demo right before I came on here, but speaking to the question about this coming year and that, I changed my business model back in September, and I lost a lot of new clients that would call up that they just had some small problem that they wanted me to solve, and they wanted me to do it on an hourly basis. And I said, well, I've changed my business model. I now do proposals for everything. I do not do ongoing bookkeeping for most of my clients. I have one client that I do it monthly. I have another client that I do it every 3 or 4 months. And I have 2 clients like that. And then I think I have a second client I do monthly, but just reconciliations. But my big focus and what I love doing the most is setting people up to use QuickBooks, or if they've been using it, to create a new data file for them and have it set up so that it works more seamlessly and more efficiently. So I give them a proposal now. I give little mentioned signposts along the way. When we reach this, to start, if you accept the proposal, you start by giving me a check for $1,000, and then at each of the points along the way, I get the second 1,000 and the third 1,000 and the fourth 1,000 ahead of time. And I really like that way of doing it, because what it does is it screens out for the people that are just too nervous about committing, and they don't know how much something is going to be worth to them. And I just really kind of wanted to screen out those clients. And so this works very well. And the client that I did a $4,000 project for, we created QuickBooks. He keeps everything in QuickBooks, and he had kept this $15 million a year business with Quicken for 40 years. And we switched
incredible to
them
me.
over to QuickBooks, QuickBooks Pro Premier Desktop, and I put it on QBox. And I have to thank Yvonne so much for referring me to QBox and telling me about T. Srinivas, because he worked with one of my clients was having the hardest time getting her computer to sync and start. She couldn't get on after anybody else used it. It would be all synced and it would be open, but she couldn't get on. And TS worked with her yesterday and worked it out. It was her internet somehow. And so that was really nice. And he gave her his phone number so that if she runs into the problem again, she can call him right away and get the help she needs. But this has worked out very nice. The other thing is there's certain parts that we bring in from another software, a third-party software called Oak Street. And Oak Street does the sales, the cost of goods sold, the purchases, cost of goods sold, the inventory, the sales, the accounts receivable. That's all done separate. And so then what I do is I bring that in to the QuickBooks file once a month on the last day of the month through journal entries that are memorized. So it's really kind of seamlessly done. It takes me about 2 hours to prepare QuickBooks so I can do part of the sales AR journal entry, basically the deposits. And I bring the other things in from Oak Street, and we don't double any numbers and we don't cut any numbers in half. So we get relatively accurate profit and loss and relatively accurate balance sheet that agrees and can be used. So every month, by the end of the first week of the month, we have that done. So that's really nice. And that's my specialty. That's what I do with these proposals. I also, though, just had this demo of a company called PEXCard, P-E-X. And P-E-X stands for Prepaid Expense Card. And what's really interesting about this is that it's like a debit card that your clients can give to their workers, their staff people to use. And you can very easily control with the dashboard what they're allowed to spend the money on. So instead of giving somebody petty cash or giving them a credit card that they could accidentally pull out of their wallet and put their personal fuel onto your credit card. And I mean, I have owners that do this all the time. The owners go, oh, I didn't realize I put my business expense on my personal card, or I put my personal expense on my business card. But these, it filters for the kind of merchants where you can use them. You can actually give a guy a card, and the only place they can use that is at a fuel pump.
Oh, okay, I didn't know they could do that.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And he says he's more than willing to demonstrate it. Now, you can set permissions, and there's like, I went through the list with him, but there's huge numbers of permissions. I told him, I think what we need to do is get the government to give these PEX cards to the government employees. So they can charge all the personal stuff on.
There'll be a little riot.
But you can set permissions. The administrator, who would be either the owner or yourself as a bookkeeper accountant, would assign a 4-digit PIN. The employee can't change that PIN. They cannot use it at an ATM. So if they go to an ATM to get cash, it gets declined. And what's very interesting is that message goes right back automatically that the card has been declined at an ATM, or it's been declined anywhere, and it says why it's been declined. And that's interesting because then you know who's trying to use it at places
Somewhere else, right?
Now, a lot of times that's just carelessness. I get that. But it's just handy to know that. And you then can end up making $400 for every client you refer that signs up. I assume that's down the road somewhere, because when I was talking to him about setting up, how much does this cost my client? Because I know a lot of clients that do the petty cash thing, and I'm thinking that isn't very secure, although we do make them bring back a receipt. But the receipt doesn't necessarily say what car or what truck the fuel went into. It just says
Right.
bought fuel, and this is a receipt for fuel.
Right.
So it's usually, to set it up, it would be a $50 one-time setup fee. Right now, he's willing to waive that fee. It usually would cost $7.50 per card per month. That's very reasonable, but he's willing to do it right now for $4 a card a month. And he's willing to do it for the first 7 months free,
Oh, nice.
with no charge on the card, no $50 setup, nothing. The
Just
only
use it.
thing the client would do is fund. You give them the money, that you fund the card.
Right.
And I didn't find out what the minimum. I would assume the minimum would depend on how much you were going to put on the cards, how many cards you'd have. And you can, in real time, say an employee calls you and they've lost the card, you can turn it off. And then they call you a half an hour later, oh, I found it in the pocket of my pants. Turn it back on again. You can add money to the cards at any time. It's just, and the more I thought about it, I thought, well, there's some clients of mine that it really might give them a little more peace of mind. It's a little more secure against fraud, and it protects how the money's spent. And not only that, but then you can start to, your clients start budgeting, well, how much am I budgeting for these expenses?
Right. Instead of
and
pulling
then-
it out of their pocket.
And yet, if you need to bump it up or bump it down, you can do that right away. So it's pretty, to me, it was very interesting, and it only took him 20 minutes to demonstrate it. He verbally speaks, but he also has a screen he shares, and it's very well laid out, so it's very simple to follow what he's saying. So the more I thought about it, because I thought, why not just use a credit card? But it integrates with QuickBooks. You get great reports. It also works with Expensify and Tally. If you want to use it with them, you don't need to use it with them, but you can. So
Nice.
So it's just interesting. They're based out of New York City, and they started in 2007. So they are 8 years old, and they have a
Been
lot of
around for a while.
companies they already work with
Nice.
that are kind of companies, you've heard their names. So
Probably work well with construction companies.
I would think so. Plumbers, people that are driving company trucks and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's other ways to do it, obviously, other than a PEX card, but it just seems like this is kind of a neat way to do it. And they've been,
Offers a little extra protection
yeah,
than just cash or regular credit card.
right.
Well, we still do have some questions around receipts. Let me see. Shelley, you had a question. Is QBox good for receipts too?
QBox is just a file sharing, like the QuickBooks file. You could share with your customer, your client, and it's kind of like you don't have to use a portable file. It's a desktop data file.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was just,
You can use it to share Microsoft files, Word, Excel,
Right.
but I don't think just a regular old file system. I think it's linked to a certain folder.
Well, but the cool thing about it is that, like, you pay per folder. So you have you pay X amount per client folder, and you share that client folder with that client, and then you put the QuickBooks files inside that folder. You can also put in subfolders. So what I've done is I've set in folders saying going to the client and then coming to Joanne. So whenever we want to send things to each other, we can just drag them into the folder on the computer, and it syncs up with QBox and comes down to me. So if they wanted to send me a PDF or something like that, it comes right over.
Oh, I'd love to see you demonstrate that,
Yeah.
Joanne. That sounds
Well, that's the thing, is that it's like you can, a lot of people don't know that, but all you have to do is pop in, and once you have that QBox folder set up and everything is synced underneath that client, you can drop in subfolders and actually share inside of their folder. You can share Word documents, PDFs, and stuff like that. So they'll send me something and they'll say, hey, we're sending you, and of course you'll get the notification. It'll pop up that something goes into the folder, but they'll say, oh, we had a bounce check that we had to redeposit. So when you're doing the receipts and the deposits, it's here. And then they'll send it to me so I can have it to be able to have the bookkeeper fix it when they go to do the monthly work. So we've just started using that a little bit more. I only have a couple of clients on QBox right now, but I have a list of 4 of them that I'm going to be rolling on to QBox as soon as we go up to 16. So we're kind of waiting for each of them to be at the point where they have the right hardware to be able to run 16, because a lot of my clients have older computers and they're just not going to be able to run 16. So, but yeah, it's very, very cheap. QBox is very cheap.
$9 a folder.
Not $9 a client. And for me, a lot of my clients, and I'm sure, I think Linda's in the same situation, is that we have clients that really can't be online. They're the industry, what they do with the extensive job costing and the inventory that's doing and the time tracking that is just so much better visually and for the client inside of desktop, that it's just not one that we can make that move. And QBox is the solution to be able to. So what QBox does is once, if they're working in the file, I can't work on the file. So when they
you can go look though and get.
I can look at it if I wanted to, but I can't make changes.
Right.
It's a file syncing.
And then the file syncs up to the cloud, to the QBox cloud, and then once it's synced, I can open it. But when I'm opening it, it locks it so they can only view, they can't change. So it locks it, so it's like a triangle.
What's really nice about that too is like you could, like if you have team members, and your staff, you could send an invitation to that folder to that person, know, and I love it because I have, about 3 people that work for me, and it works so nice.
Yeah, we have it on all of our computers at the office so that we all can sync and see.
And for the price, you can't beat it. And it's such a lifesaver, because I have a couple clients that don't want to go to, the cloud or have it hosted. So this way it's on my desktop, it's on my client's desktop, and also probably one of my, team members. Yep. So it works really great. It's been a lifesaver.
Well, the thing that I actually like about it is when it's up on the cloud, that's where the data file is. But when I sign on to it, I'm not working across the internet. It syncs down to my hard drive. I'm actually working on my hard drive. So if I have a slow internet connection, it's fine, because I'm not working, going back and forth like QuickBooks Online. You got to have a fast internet connection to it. Yep. So, and not only that, but if something happens, back it up to your, like QuickBooks Online, you want to back it up, right? Good luck. But you can back this up on your own hard drive. So you could restore it on your hard drive if for some reason you lost an internet connection, if you were on the phone with other people.
It works as a backup in addition.
Yeah. So perfect example of that, Linda, you'll love this one, is I went to a client today to supposedly add a connection to another computer. So they bought a new computer. They need one more person to have access to the file, and they didn't do it right. They thought and I'm like, why wouldn't you call me to do it? Because I can do it for you like lickety split, right?
Right.
So I go over there and something happened, and they had deleted the QBox folder. They couldn't find they couldn't find where the QuickBooks file was. They were freaking out. And all as I did was click log on. I deleted the QBox folder. They re-added it. It synced it down, and within 5 minutes, the file was back on. So it is a really, really good backup, because whenever you log out, there's always a backup up in the cloud.
Always. And you can actually, when you go online, there's a place where you can look at the history, and it saves like the last 50 copies.
Yeah, it does. Yep.
That means if it turns out some terrible mistake was made last week that you didn't realize, and then you discover it, you can go back to the day before that terrible mistake was made and restore that one and just keep working.
Or there was a really poor bookkeeper that didn't know what they were doing and totally did things all wrong. You wanted to just go back to before they started. Yeah.
It's like, I just think it's a wonderful program for people who struggle with online stuff. It really works really pretty seamlessly. And I'm working with people that are in their mid-70s, and they're not super sharp on that stuff.
So Sarah asked if QBox is for multi-user. So it's not, so let's clarify this. If the client has multi-user, the client can be multi-user with it.
In their own office.
In their own
If they
office.
have a local area network.
Yeah,
Right.
you cannot be multi-usered with the client. So that's why it locks you out. So if
Okay.
I'm working on the file, they cannot be in it at all multi-user.
Right.
Except to view.
Because
Just
so
use.
I want to use it for my office then as a multi-user, because I'm using Right Networks and it's really challenging to use Right Networks.
You can if you have a server client set up,
Okay.
network set up. You actually have to have an actual server, a dedicated server, and your computer is connected to that. It can't be computer to computer
Okay.
or peer to peer.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has to be network to client or network to.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Have you used Cloud9?
Mm-mm.
Sarah,
I like
I hear
Cloud9
you.
if
Sarah
you're
laid off.
for a hosted environment.
So you like Cloud9?
Yeah, Deborah Kilsmeyer, she was the one that turned me on to Cloud9
Yeah,
Okay.
because I had problems with other hosting providers. I don't want to mention them, but
Sorry.
I've been using Cloud9 I think for just maybe 3 to 4 months, and I haven't had any issues. I like their customer support. Very clean. I mean, I really recommend it. You should give it a shot because you can multi-user mode if you have multi-user.
Yeah.
No problem.
Well, that's nice to know. I mean, I do like, there are things that I do like about what I have now. It's just, there have been challenges and it's cost me.
Well, you have to have that many licenses though.
Yeah, and I do. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, you kind of don't get a choice when you go to that level with them. So you buy
That's
it
right.
in with them, which is fine, and I don't mind. And their customer service is great. But when they had the major meltdown recently, it really cost me days of work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use both. I use Right Networks and I use Cloud9. I know that just sounds like overkill, but I have some clients that need a little bit more hand-holding and that easier interface. Like Linda, we're talking about, some clients who are just challenged in that world. And so Cloud9 was a better solution for me.
Good.
But as a service provider, I felt like it was slower. So I felt like it took me longer to do work versus Right Networks. So I gave up speed on Cloud9 for the customer support and the great interface. But I'm okay with that because my customers are happy and it works great. So I think I think no matter who you go with, you're always going to have some kind of issues. But
Hey,
Yeah, I'm open to that.
Dan, where are you at? Where are you located at?
I'm in Arizona, but my clients are all over the country.
Yeah.
And my staff is all over the country.
Yeah, because sometimes I couldn't help but think, because there was a hosting provider that I used to use, and they're on the opposite end of me, and I always had problems. It was always a lag time, really bad lag. I lost a very big client because they always had issues with it. So I found, when I talked to Deborah, she highly recommended Cloud9, and so far it's been good. And I thought maybe it's also the distance, could have something to do with it. And I pay for the fastest internet I can have on my systems here. So I know it wasn't that. I had someone check it out for me, and they told me, no, wow, you're above the, most people don't have that fast speed. So I know it wasn't that, but like you said, I guess, every one of those hosting providers, there's nothing that's a perfect solution.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Good luck.
Well, thank you.
Is Sarah, Laidlaw, I can't hear you. Are you trying to talk, Sarah? Yeah.
Always has issues.
I can hear you.
No. While we're waiting for Sarah to talk.
How about that?
Yeah, now.
Yay!
Hey, Sarah.
Now you
I
just gotta
wasn't
look at,
muted on Zoom. I was muted on this little bad boy.
now you just gotta look at the right camera. You gotta look at the
What were
right
you saying? What were you saying, Sarah?
You want me to remember something from 5 seconds ago?
I don't know.
Look at the right, you got to look at the right camera, though.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, but it's not on my monitor, so I can't look at you guys.
You'll have to slide. You got to
Besides,
slide.
this is my good side.
You have to slide us underneath your camera.
I have no idea what I was saying.
Squirrel.
Squirrel. Q-Box. That's what we were talking
You're
about.
talking Q-Box.
All right. Oh, I know what it was. The different hosting groups will use different technology. Like some will use Citrix and some of them will use our remote desktop.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cloud9, I loved how easy it was to get files up and down.
Yeah.
Right. Or InSync, miserable. They're all different. And, I can have the Mac Daddy computers and RAM and Comcast and all that. And you just get days where it just sucks. But that's why every single client I had on a cloud server, none of them needed workers in at the same time, except for unless it was in their own location. They didn't need to be in at the same time as the remote worker. So using the Q-Box, just became absolutely perfect. And so if they have a group folder on their own LAN, all their workers are in and out, multi-user, and I can't work unless I dial in with log me in or something on my own workstation. But chances are for the work that I need to do, it's going to be after 5 anyway, or I don't need to lock it. Like if I'm doing quarterlies and things like that, I don't have to lock the books. Or if I'm reviewing.
Yeah, all you're doing is looking at reports and printing them out.
No, and chances are treasurers and owners and all those remote people that want access, they don't need to be posting anyway.
That's right.
So if you really start thinking about why they're in the cloud, chances are it's because there's that one person or a couple people who want access to it, and so Q-Box just became, $7.50 a month. Come on.
Yeah.
The thing I like about it is that for my tax clients, I get a sneak preview of any mistakes before year end. I can still do something about it.
Oh, I had a funny one this week. I had I'd sent out all my engagement letters for the 1099s and W-2s, and so one of the guys called and he said, was making an appointment for me to check his database for the 1099s, and so I popped into Q-Box and he had not touched his data file since September. I'm like, and at first I panicked because I thought, they've been forgetting to lock the books,
right.
And I said, you haven't been in your QuickBooks since September. He's like, how do you know that?
Your brother's watching you.
He said, you weren't supposed to know that because he just said, yeah, we're almost done. Da, 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 and I went, it's been in since September. Oh, that was funny. Next thing you know, it's locked and
yeah,
and they're catching it up. But no, I can see when everybody's going home at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock. The funniest one was I was talking to a tax accountant, and he called in a panic because he said he had an appointment with the client, and he said, I need a copy of the QuickBooks. And I'm like, right now? And he goes, yeah, my appointment's in like an hour. So I was telling him, I said, guy, you need a Q-Box. So I'm talking about that. Meanwhile, I'm like popping into mine and at least giving him something so he can at least sound like he's like not an idiot when they show up. And then I said, she just logged off. She's on her way. You can see her sinking.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
All righty. We are almost out of time. Dwayne, we haven't heard from you today. I saw you come on. Hello. Happy New Year. Do you have anything that you would like to discuss today?
No, but I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone. I've got a cold today.
Yeah, don't breathe through the don't send your
Don't want to send us a virus.
I had a meeting today at that's one of the reasons I was late at 2:00, and I got all dressed, and I'm not feeling well, and so they called to see if I was feeling better today. And no, I'm still green, but I'm ready. I'll get in the car, and then I'm like, most one of y'all has a laptop. So, it was so nice. So they just all gathered around the laptop, and I joined them, and not having to get in the car. But see, they like to see me.
Yeah, but in this instance, you're not breathing any germs on them. They're not getting anything that you got.
Yeah, and that was just, and I said, thank you so much. The thought of not having to get in the car right now. So
nice.
Rainy and nasty out, and so yeah, I'm loving our Zooms.
Yeah, well, we will be Zooming from here on out. Maybe a few blabs here and there on special occasions, maybe for holidays, but for the most part, our Hangouts are going to be on Zoom going forward. Next week, we actually have a demo. We have Lee Robertson coming on. He'll be talking about sales tax. So that's next week. Beginning of February, our Joanne has scheduled a 17 hats demo.
Yay!
Yay! So I'm thinking for March, we might bring Q-Box back.
Huh? What'd you say?
In March, we'll be bringing Q-Box back.
Oh, Chris Wise or somebody?
Well, no, just so that we can talk about, the last time he was with us, somebody's echoing.
All of a sudden.
Last time Chris was with us, he just demonstrated the Q-Box, not the Microsoft File Share, where you can share Word and PDFs and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'll be doing that in March. And Joanne, you can tell us about your subfolder set up then.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
All righty.
I hope by then to have about 4 or 5 more clients on Q-Box.
Yeah, we did a big one today. We did a big one today with like 8 users, and I've got another big one on Monday.
Wow, I love
2 more, and I'll have everybody in a Q-Box.
Nice.
I love it when I'm around desktop users.
We're buds, aren't we?
We are.
I love desktop.
But wait a minute. In the final announcement, I don't know if you guys caught it before the hand, but it's funny because I do love desktop, but I put my file in QuickBooks Online.
Yeah, she went to the other side.
Oh.
What? What did you say?
She went to the other side.
My firm file is now on QuickBooks Online.
I read that. That was you, wasn't it?
It was, but it's because of 17 hats. It saved me so much time. It's very similar to the Practice Ignition, and everything goes right into the QuickBooks file now. It's so easy.
Yeah, I was thinking about putting our personal books on it because those bank feeds are daddy. As long as I don't have to deal with anything else, it's
There's a little Cosmo.
I know he can tell when we're getting ready to end because he's jumping up and down. He's getting excited. He wants me to hold him now.
Aww. All righty, everybody. We'll see you next week, same time. Taxify we'll be talking to. So,
awesome.
Have a great weekend. And
bye-bye.
All right.
Bye. Thank you all. Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
New Year,
How do we know when you're not recording?